please join us in whatever questions you may have, whatever comments, and you're free, by the way, to pose questions to me as well. If you have serious questions about the Alcotts, not connected with either Lynn or Porter, I'll be happy to do those.
So there's a
but
microphone.
still, this really is primarily their night, so we'll do that.
There's a microphone. Anybody?
I could get something started with a question for John.
Well, actually,
Ooh,
Okay, we've got a hand.
Professor Emeritus.
Excellent.
I actually only have like a very small point I want to put. I'm going to throw it on before the corpse gets cold. About vampirism and the period that the book has been written. One of the things that intrigued me about the emergence of this term is that in the antebellum period, vampire was a trope, although a small one, among African American abolitionists for slavery. There are passages in African American abolitionist writings where slavery is called vampirism and slavers are called vampires. And I did the same thing you all did, so I wonder where all that comes from. Apparently comes from the popularity of the romantic impulse toward that, starting with Byron. But I was intrigued because of the relationship, because of the possible relationship to the abolitionists with the Alcotts, about how vampirism, on the one hand, it's here, on the other hand, it's quite negative if you're an abolitionist.
Right.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah, and it actually makes a great deal of sense to link vampirism with slaveholding, in that at least our understanding of the vampire is usually rather aristocratic, right? You don't have a lot of working class vampires, and vampires, of course, do prey on the living, and they take the energy from the unsuspecting others, and yet also their lust for the life force of others is a deadening experience for them. And of course, many of the abolitionists raised as their first argument, look what it does to the slaveholder. Look how it destroys their humanity. And then branched out more into a discussion of the slave humanity. Sort of the reverse of probably how most of us would approach it. But what do you think?
Well, I'm glad to know the story, the history. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, they've gone actions on us in a good way.
My question for each of the two ladies up there, I'm enjoying you both very much and what you say and how you say it. Hey, somebody's going to call you from Hollywood and say, I want to make a film of your book. It's wonderful. Would you like to have cast in your filming of your book?
Okay, well, I'm not going there again. I've had a book that's been optioned for 5 years. I'm not buying it anymore. So I don't have any ideas. I'm not being suckered. No, and not Claire Danes.
I would like to have all stellar unknowns. Let's give somebody new a chance.
You're going to go the Twilight route. Excellent.
Well,
Yeah.
So both of you have had a number of books published before this and have been writing for years. What was the reaction of your friends when, as a question evidently comes up, so what are you working on now? And you revealed the Little Women projects to them.
you don't know the things I've written before. Nobody blinked an eye.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of explaining. I had to explain first what I was. You would think Little Vampire Women would give away the whole story, and nobody knew what I was talking about.
That amazes me, the amount of people that are like, Alcott? What? Who? Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to explain Little Women, March Girls, the Alcotts, and then I would have to go into Pride and Prejudice and zombies, and that this is what's going on, and that was always, I felt a little, I was always kind of embarrassed to be explaining that here's a trend and I'm jumping on board.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was a lot of explaining involved.
My caution to you both, and Lynn, I know you've had some of this already, someone wrote online that you should have your fingers cut off so
Yes,
that you couldn't.
indeed.
Yeah. The point that I want to raise, though, is that whenever you write anything, and I really mean anything, there's the potential for absolutely insane backlash. Because we live in an age when people feel that they should have no compunction about saying just the worst things to and about you. I recently, in the aftermath of Eden's Outcast, which I think is a pretty solidly researched book, if I do say so myself, I received a letter from a madwoman in Massachusetts, and she said that I was a heretic. And that I was the kind of person that Christians routinely burn, present tense, at the stake. And there were other adjectives like demented, and I was just really kind of taken aback. First demented Pulitzer Prize winner ever. I don't know, it's really weird. But anyway, be aware and be forewarned. You only need that much notoriety to start bringing the loons out of hiding.
Was that letter written in animal blood?
Very neatly typed, but it ran on for about 11 pages.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well,
So-
my answer to anybody who has anything negative to say about the book is fine, write one.
Yeah.
Or,
Or,
just don't read it.
Right, and that's harder for an author to say, but
No, buy it so you can complain about
Right,
it.
or buy it and then you can burn it, right? Lots of them.
Right.
Okay, other questions? Yes, down front.
Oh, I'd like to know what books you're all working on now, and Porter and Lynn, if you're going to write any more mashups.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes.
Okay,
please.
yes, I am working on a biography of Margaret Fuller, who was a contemporary of Bronson Alcott and Ralph Waldo Emerson. She was the author of the first significant women's rights pamphlet in American history, Women in the 19th Century, you may know, and also the first foreign news correspondent for any American paper, either male or female. She went to Rome, got caught up in the Roman Revolution, fell in love with an Italian count, had a child with him, didn't bother to marry him first, and on her way back to America, sadly sank off the, lots of spoiler alerts, off the coast of Fire Island, but a really fascinating person, likely the first really important female American intellectual, and someone I've been having a ton of fun with. And I'm hoping to have a manuscript done maybe by the end of this year. It's more than 2/3 at this point.
And any mashups in your future?
No.
I have put my heart into sci-fi for boys like 8 to 13. I've done a robot book that I just have so much invested in, and I'm just, fingers crossed that something happens with it. That is. And as far as another mashup, Louisa wrote 2 more. There's Little Men and Joe's Boys, so, if sales are good, I'm happy to write those.
Well, I just finished a science fiction Western, and I'm kind of working back and forth on a series about Catholic werewolves and a book about Siamese twin ghosts, so.
Yes, sir.
Do you see longevity in this mashup trend? And if so, would you have any other authors in mind who you'd like to develop into horror writers?
Personally, I'd only do authors that I thought approved of it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to go for a while. And a lot of these being turned into graphic novels are not going anywhere. So I think it's going to continue. And I think young people love them, and that's wonderful.
When
they're
you say
reading.
when you say graphic novels are not going anywhere, you mean they're going to be with us for a long time.
Well,
not
no, I
that
mean the
they've come to-
mashups
Yeah,
aren't going
Okay,
anywhere,
all
and the
right.
graphic novels,
Okay,
yeah.
right,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're, yeah.
Right, just wanted to clear up that ambiguity.
Oh, okay, right.